Okay, so good morning everyone. My name is Devansh and we'll be continuing with the second overview class for ALTAM. In the previous class, we had discussed about the different models that we have and the different states we can be, and it was all from the perspective of the insurer, or it was all from the perspective of the pension provider. Now we will discuss about some more models before we can finally move on to the Markov chain. We can discuss about that. Because the reason why I'm discussing about all of these models is because it is extremely important that you understand the insurer's perspective. So far, you have been living a life where you are only concerned about yourself. I am calling you narcissist, I know that. But so far you were living a life where you were only concerned about the cash flows from your perspective. But now you would be working under someone else, you would be working under an insurer, you would be working under the pension provider or the provider of benefits. You will have to think from their perspective. I would not be concerned about whether you are injured or whether you have fractured your leg or whether you have injured your arm. I am not concerned about that. What I am concerned about is, are you sick? If you are sick, then you would be eligible for the benefit, otherwise not. So in the previous class, we had discussed n number of models. The last model was the disability income model, wherein I had said that you would receive the benefit if you are sick. I do not care about whether your sickness is due to X reason, Y reason, Z reason, or whatever it is. I am concerned about whether you are sick or not. If you are sick, then you are more than welcome to receive payment from me. Otherwise, more than welcome to claim payment from me. Otherwise, you are not. Now, we'll discuss about some more models. But from here on, we'll discuss about a joint life. We will not concern about a single life. I will not be talking about myself as a single person now. I would not talk about someone else, my family member or someone like that. Now I would be talking about a joint life. Let us say that I were to talk about a husband and a wife. Now husband is financially, emotionally and everything dependent upon the wife, and same is the case with the wife, right? Now it is possible that you do not want to buy a plain vanilla policy only for yourself. You want to buy a policy which provides cover for you and for your wife as well, or vice versa, that you want to purchase a policy which provides cover to you and your husband as well. So you can have this model. Like for example, it is possible that whatever contribution that to sustain your living, to sustain your standard of living, the wife's contribution to the expenses is 60% and the husband's contribution to the expenses is 40%. Then if the wife were to die, then 60% of the expenses would be funded by the insurance company till the husband lives, and then they will stop the payment. This is just a scenario, by the way. This is just a model which I am making on the spot. Now, if the husband were to die, then the insurance company would fund 40% of their expenses till the wife is alive, and then they will stop. So you can have n number of different scenarios under this model. The reason being, you have different approaches. The proportion in which the expenses have been funded in this particular house is not the same. Obviously, you can have a simple model as well, wherein 50% is being contributed by the husband, 50% is contributed by the wife, but who lives to live in a simple life? So let us make it as complicated as we can. So basically, under a multiple lives model, you will have one state wherein both the husband and the wife is alive. And now let us say that wife dies due to any reason. If the wife were to die, let's say due to a car accident, then only the husband would be alive. And now if the husband is alive, the husband is only able to fund, because of his income and all that, because of his salary, because of his other obligations, he is only able to fund 40% of the monthly expenses. Now the insurance company's obligation would be to fund the remaining 60%. Clear? Next. Now if let's say husband were to die under a car accident, then wife can only fund 60% of the expenses of the house due to her income and other obligations, and the insurance company will fund the remaining 40%. I'm not getting into that assumption that husband were to die, that so husband has died, so ideally the expenses should fall. I'm not talking about that expenses. I'm talking about those expenses which will be incurred irrespective of who is living. Like for example, maybe rent of the house, right? Irrespective of whether husband is alive, or irrespective of whether only wife is alive, or irrespective of whether both of them are alive, it will have to be paid. It will have to be paid, right? So that is what I'm talking about. Now, obviously, if neither of them are alive, then it does not make sense for us to have the house to begin with. So insurance company will not fund any amount of that money. So clear. So this is a multiple life model. So it basically have 4 states. First state is that where both of them are alive, where both husband and wife is alive. Second state is where only husband is alive. Third state is where only wife is alive. Fourth state is where neither of them are alive. So this is the case. Now, let us consider a model wherein you have a husband, wife, and you have a child as well. Now, child is financially dependent upon his parents, right? Now, if the husband were to die, then wife will have to pay the expenses. Wife will have to enter the expenses to sustain her living and the child's living, and she will also have to sustain the child's future and all that. She will have to secure the child's future, and again, so she will require a lump sum amount of money. So this is one need of the if only wife is alive. Now consider a scenario where wife were to die. If wife were to die, then husband will also have to sustain and live in. Again, he will have to secure the future of the child. Again, he might require the same amount of money as the wife, or he might require a different amount of money to sustain all of that. Right? Whatever the case, maybe he also requires some amount of money. Now, consider the scenario where both husband and wife dies. If both husband were to die, if both husband and wife were to die, then child will require a lump sum amount of money. A child will also require some amount of money to sustain his living, to secure his own future. Someone will have to pay for the child, right? So the insurance company will come in. So you can also have a common shock model. Like worst case scenario, consider a very severe scenario where both husband, child is alone at home, husband and wife are traveling. Let us say via a car gets into an accident, both husband and wife dies. Then the insurance company will have to pay the child the money, right? So it was possible that on the morning of a very sunny day, both husband and wife were alive, child was also alive, but by the night only child is alive. So it is possible that you have moved from both of them are alive to straight to neither of them are alive. So something like this can also happen. Next, it is possible that you have went from only male life alive. It is also possible that you have went from only female life alive. Oh, sorry. You can also have a transition from here to here. Right? So this is the other scenario. It is a common shock model which we will also be discussing about. We will be discussing about the reserves part and this pricing part and contract design part about all of these models. And next, you have a continuing care retirement care model which we call as old age home in India. So old age home or temporary dependency kind of age model. So herein what you will have is that let us consider a scenario wherein you are the only person who is alive in your family. Now, if you were to become sick, or if you were to, let us say, that get into an accident or maybe get handicapped, get into an accident which will require you to maybe have 2 to 3 months of supported care, like you will need someone else, you might need a nurse, you might need a helper or someone like that who will take care of you till you have finally become fully recovered. Then in that case, you can purchase a policy, you can purchase a scheme wherein you can get temporary support or you can become temporary dependency. So basically what will happen under this model is, consider an example wherein you are 30-year-old and you are the only person who is alive in the family and you do not want to become a multiple life, that you do not plan to get married or something like that due to whatever reason. Now, you would require someone, if you were to die. If you were to get handicapped, or if you were to get, let's say, get into an accident which has fractured your leg, then you would require someone for maybe 2 to 3 months, but you would require someone, right? Then in that case, earlier you were independent. Before 30, you did not need anyone. You were the only alpha male or female that were alive. So you were completely independent. But because of an accident, because you got into an accident, you fractured your leg, now you would need someone. Till the time you recover, you would need someone. You would need a nurse who can cater to your needs, who can help you till you are back on your feet. So you are temporarily dependent now. It is obviously possible that as and when you recover, as and when your leg becomes healthy, as and when you are back to running, right? So as and when you are back, basically as and when you can properly function, as and when you can go back to the independent state, you will receive the payment. You would receive the payment just so that they are enough to pay for the nurses, just so it is enough to pay for your medical expenses, just so it is enough to foot your hospital bill. So you will receive that much amount of money from the CCRC or whoever the provider of benefit is. And obviously once you are independent, you would not receive any payment or something like that. Again, it is possible that you have fractured your leg so bad that you cannot ever walk again. Then you can move to a permanent disability state as well. It is also possible that you have moved from independent state to permanent disability as well. So permanent dependent state. So let us say that you have memory loss problem, you have Alzheimer's or something like that. So earlier you were independent, but gradually and slowly as the Alzheimer's level is increasing, you are becoming partially dependent. Thereafter you became permanently dependent. Something like this can also happen. Then in that case you will need a nurse, you will need a special care, special plan and everything which will help your cause. So this is a CCRC. Obviously we'll be discussing about the different levels of CCRC as well, and about medical living, assisted living, about memory care plan and everything. So we'll be discussing about that, don't worry. And you would be modeling the cash flows and everything regarding to all of the models that we have discussed so far. In the next class, we'll be discussing about Markov chain, because I have went overshot with this video, but in the next class, we'll be discussing about Markov chain, about what Markov chain is, about the limitation, assumptions and everything regarding the Markov chain. And I will try as much as I can with respect to that video, how much I can cover. But for this video, this is it. Let me know if you have any queries in the comment section, or message us on 8100598543. Again, I will repeat 8100598543 +91 at the start. Okay, thank you.